What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new rebuild, and today it's going to be my team, Manchester United, a very fun project to do with Football Manager. Hopefully you will have nearly as much fun watching as I had making this, because I had a ton of fun. We've got all the latest transfers, we're using a Ten Hag tactic. It's going to be a good video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and again, comment below 1 to 2 teams you want to see have a rebuild, and if you want to get the rebuild file and the tactic today, you can do so by joining the Patreon in the link below, where you get over 11 perks, including those two. It's where everyone's going. Go and get involved. But let's go through and start this rebuild. Manchester United in the game, I don't really need to do this, but we know who they are. They're the biggest team in football, a 4.5-star reputation, 4-star training, 4-star youth, 4-star youth recruitment. The owners, they love the club. The bank balance is looking pretty decent as well, although there is a little bit of debt to pay off, let's just be honest. But if we go to the overview, we could be here for 50 minutes talking about the trophies, but 3 Champions Leagues, 20 English titles, tons of other stuff going on as well. Of course, the main aim of today's video is to turn this 3 into a 4, but hopefully we can turn that 20 into a 23 maybe. Hopefully out of 5 years we can win 2 to 3 English Premier Division titles, and definitely a Champions League, otherwise I'll fail the video basically. But the staff, they're keeping exactly the same as what we have in real life. The money, we're not going to sign a single player, but we would have had £1 million anyway. But what I have done is, to have a little bit of fun and make it realistic, I have personally made a database where we have got all these players. So let's go over and look at some of the new lads into the team, shall we? So first off, it's going to be Xerxes. Now for me, he's a player I don't know too much about in real life, but I do think we are going to be starting off playing this 4-2-2 system that we played last year in that cup final against Man City, where we humiliated them. And for the first season, we're going to play it, so we can use him and Højlund up front as a pairing. Now for me, he looks very good inside the game, and at the end of the day, as long as he does somewhat decent, sort of 15 goals in his first season, I'm more than happy to play him. Now on the left, it gets interesting for the first season. I might revert to a 4-2-3-1 at some point, but for the first season, we're 100% using this. We've got Garnacho, we've got Rashford, we've got Diallo, we've got a lot of options to use. Now, of course, that's going to be down to who performs the best. As for the DM, this man, Kobbie Mainoo, he will be in the team as much as he can be, because he's incredible. I absolutely love the guy. He has to play as much as he can. The new right back coming in, for me, a very limited knowledge on this individual again, but he looks very good inside the game. Is he a clear upgrade on Wan-Bissaka? They're different players. This guy's actually quite good attacking. Aaron Wan-Bissaka isn't that good at attacking, but was really good at defensive. In my personal opinion, having Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dalot was the perfect combo, because you had one attacking, one defensive. Now we've sort of got 2 attacking, but hopefully that's well thought about and worked. They know better than me. Now, of course, the next signing is going to be De Ligt, a player who was very on the ropes whether he was going to sign, whether he's not going to sign, whether it's going to get done. I still forget he's only 23, so very young, an incredible centre-back who has played already for some big teams, famously, of course, in that Ajax team. Half this team are famous for that Ajax team. We also picked up Leny Yoro, of course, a player for the future, 17 years of age, and the real exciting thing for Manchester United fans at the moment is, instead of signing 30, 40-year-olds to say, we're going out and actually signing young players, 23-year-olds, 25-year-olds, players that are going to be around for definitely 5 to 10 years. So it's really good to see. And this team is what I would expect the game to play. We will filter by the best 11 and see what happens, and hopefully it doesn't get crazy. So they put in Rashford. Casemiro will not be playing. I'm going to lock in Kobbie. I'll make sure I lock in Kobbie. I know I never usually do it, but this is a personal rebuild. It's my team. I've got to make sure he gets game time. But for the first season with this team, for example, I genuinely think, what are we playing in 4 competitions? I do think for the Premier League, there's no reason we can't be finishing in the top 4. In real life, I think we're going to win Europa League and also finish in the top 4. I'm going to set myself them same standards. So let's get into the first season with the new transfers, with a Ten Hag tactic, and see what we can do. Hopefully, we do what I said. So we are going to start off with a cup final, the FA Cup against Liverpool, where unfortunately it's an awful start for De Ligt, a great finish from Darwin Núñez, and that is not the start you want to see from De Ligt. A awful start. Then Szoboszlai puts a great ball into the box. Trent wins it back into Diaz, into Darwin Núñez inside of 21 minutes, and luckily we did get back into the game, but that was it. We lose 2-1. We are also going to lose 3-1 in another cup final against Arsenal. That is 2 finals, 2 trophies we have lost purely from 2 finals. It's absolute heartbreak. The Champions League, how far did we get? We didn't get to the final. We didn't get to the semi-final. I'm getting quite worried now. We did get to the quarter-final and we lost to Inter Milan 6-5 over 2 legs. An incredible tie by the looks of it, but that is going to be all she wrote in the Champions League, meaning it's 2 cup finals and an exit in the quarter-final. Hopefully we got top 4 in the Premier League. We did. That's the main thing. We got 3rd place in the Premier League, winning 26, drawing 6, losing 6. Rasmus Højlund top goal scorer, Xerxes with 24 goals, 3 players in the average rating, Bruno with 14 assists as well. A real strong season. And what I will say is, it's quite good to see Højlund and Xerxes performing together, but how well did they perform? Let's go and see. 40 from Bruno. 40 from Bruno, 31 assists. He will be by far the best player of this entire season. Xerxes with 36, so nearly 40 for 3 players there. So this tactic does work really well. 21 for Marcus Rashford, De Ligt with 12 goals, a really good performance there. Garnacho with 9, which tells me he probably didn't play too many games, which is a little bit annoying to see, I will be honest. Assist-wise though, obviously, Bruno's going to carry the bulk load. 19 for Luke Shaw. Højlund with 17. The new right back coming in. Mazraoui with 15. 14 for Rashford. Dalot with 9. Xerxes with 9. Kobbie Mainoo, despite being locked in, had quite an average season, to be honest. But what I love about the tactic is the goals. What I don't love is clearly that left-hand side, because we are being forced to pick between Rashford and Garnacho. So I might toy with the idea of a 4-2-3-1 and just see what we can cook up. But of course, that does depend also on the transfer budget. Let's go and have a little look. We have been given, oh yeah, £81 million to spend, a big transfer budget, and we've not even discussed really the squad. So contract wise, we are obviously in 2024. Heaton can go, Amrabat can go, Eriksen can go, Maguire I might keep for another season. McTominay, got to offer him a contract. We've got a lot of players in 2025. Diallo contract. Lindelof, I'll see about the offers, if not a new contract. But looking through this team, players that I do want to eventually get rid of, or as soon as I can, Christian Eriksen would be one. He's, you know what, he's an iconic player, but he's not offering much anymore. Harry Maguire, you know why he needs to leave. Loads of other players as well. You've got the likes of Anthony, again, had a diabolical season. Didn't even play a single game, really. So he is definitely going to be leaving when I can actually get something for him, which is also very hard in this game. Where is Mr. Jadon Sancho? Out on loan, obviously, at Dortmund. If I can get money for him, he can go as well. There's loads of other players as well, to be honest. But those are the main suspects I need to try and get rid of. Now, in terms of improvements for the team, we're going to try and maybe worm our way into a 4-2-3-1. We're going to see what players we can attract first, because I've got one man, the man on the thumbnail. If you paid attention to that, that's who we're going after. So let's get into season 2 with a grand total of 81 million and see what we can do. Now I'm going to wave goodbye to Casemiro, and we have done well. We have done very well. We have got 62 million, a £2 million profit from when we bought him from Real Madrid. He's only now getting older and declining. We'll take 62 million pounds and we will run with it. He's on 800 grand a week, by the way. Willy Kambawala is going to be going on the free. He is going to be going to AC Ajaccio, I believe is how you say that. He simply was not going to get in the team. Sancho is going to have another season out on loan at Dortmund. Not an ideal outcome. I would want him to buy him, but they weren't up for it. Anthony is going to get a loan move to Real Sociedad, where we do pull in £1.7 million in total fees, but again, I'd rather just him go on the permanent. Replace Casemiro, we have got the rumoured man, Manuel Ugarte, coming in from PSG, 23 years of age, and this guy partners Kobbie Mainoo so well in midfield. He's aggressive, he's a great DM, not really too focused on going forward, unlike Kobbie. It's a fantastic partnership. He cost me a total of £75 million, which, to be honest, considering that is only, what, £13 million extra than what we raised for Casemiro, it's an absolute bargain. I then used the £81 million transfer budget and a little bit of an instalment to bring in Jamal Musiala, coming in from FC Bayern for £105 million, meaning we have got Ugarte and Musiala in one transfer window, and got rid of Casemiro, a perfect transfer window. And just look at him. He's 21. He's got 20 dribbling at the age of 21. He is world class. He can play on the left, on the right, in the middle. For us, it's going to be a hybrid between in the middle and also on the left, because we are now playing a 4-2-3-1 with Onana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, Shaw, Fernandes, Ugarte, Garnacho, Musiala, Rashford and Højlund. You might be thinking, Josh, what is Bruno doing there? And he will not be playing there, because I will be locking in our best friend, Kobbie Mainoo, which means Bruno Fernandes will most likely be playing here, And then Musiala will be playing on the left with Rashford. Garnacho locked in on the right now, so he's definitely going to get game time. Also, the likes of Musiala can play in the middle, so Bruno might be playing here sometimes, or in this role. It's a nice mixture of players, and what I like about this team is we've got some real good rotation now. We've got a good backup goalkeeper, we've got a good backup right back in Dalot. Centre-backs, we've got Martinez, De Ligt, we've got Maguire, who I didn't really, or couldn't sell. Same with Victor Lindelof, we've got Yoro, of course, we've got Shaw, we've also got Malacia, a player who is pretty 50-50 on this game. Mainu, Ugarte, Mount, we've got McTominay. I'm not going to redress Eriksen because I simply can't sell him, but we have got really good backup options for almost every area of the pitch. So I am confident going into Season 2. Of course, going into Season 2, we are playing in the same exact 4 competitions, and they are going to be predicting us a finish of 5th place. So let's get into Season 2. For me, I think we can actually improve on 3rd and genuinely challenge for the title. Well, into the Carabao Cup and into extra time, where we are going to come out and win. That is right, win a 2-0 extra time game against Chelsea with Højlund and Bruno Fernandes. And we are also going to win the Premier League in Season 2, not by the most amount of points. Tottenham actually having a great season for once. 2 draws and 6 losses for us, but 30 wins. That was the key difference. Bruno Fernandes, the top goal scorer. We love to see that. Rashford, second. We love to see that. We also are going to see Musiala, the 2nd best average rating, and overall a real strong season. You can't complain at all. I would imagine the stats are also going to be pretty good. Yeah, they're going to be absolutely amazing. So a very strong season. But what didn't we win? Well, we didn't win the FA Cup, runners-up 2-1 against Man City, of all teams. And the Champions League, it's an improvement from the quarterfinals to the semis. We are going to lose 3-2 against Real Madrid, which of course would have been, you know, it would have been doable, wouldn't it? It would have been doable. We would have met RB Leipzig in the final, and I think we could have easily beaten them. But overall, a very good season. I would imagine it's going to be, oh, it's really good. Bruno, again, is doing stats I've not seen from him in a long time. 45 goals, 43 for Rashford. Musiala with 32 and 22. A ridiculous season. Garnacho, well locked in, 26 and 18. Højlund, 23 and 9. 23 assists from a locked-in Kobbie Mainoo. 19 for Ugarte, a great first season. This is a real good display, guys, in terms of not just relying on one player. We have got a big core of players that are working really well. And this 4-2-3-1, I was very hesitant after seeing a season of Xerxes and Højlund scoring almost 40 goals each. I was like, am I nuts for doing this? But I'm clearly not. We've won the Premier League, we've won an English trophy, and if we filter by the best 11 now, your team is going to be this. So it still favours Antony will not be in this team, but he does favour still on the right-hand side. But that's not going to be the team. Put Garnacho in there and you might be somewhat near an accurate start on 11. But so far, so good in this rebuild. Now, the budget, we've got 88 million again. In fact, we might have more now. 88 million to go and spend. The debts and loans is still quite hefty. So I'm going to keep spending. I'm going to keep spending. I always do, because I like to try and improve the team. And as long as we're winning trophies, I see myself as being successful. So let's get into Season 3 of the transfers. We are storming along now, but we're doing such a good job. Now, in terms of areas of improvement, I'm looking and I'm like, what do I do? Because we've actually got a really good team. I mean, I think this is going to be a matter of actually looking at who's on the market, then going back into our team and being like, is that a good move? Will it fit? Will it not fit? That's probably going to be the play. Contract-wise, of course, a big conversation point. We are going to look at people from 2026 upwards. So that's going to be these select group of players. That is going to be Jadon Sancho, Maguire, Hannibal, Eriksen and Evans. Funny enough, I want them all gone, so I'm not going to beg for any of them to stay. So we might have a situation where we come back to you with no Sancho, no Maguire, no Evans, Eriksen or Hannibal. Let's get into Season 3 transfers. You can't write the story about this guy, right? I cannot sell Antony. I can't sell him. He's now going on loan to Torino. So he had his season at Real Sociedad where he scored 6 goals and 2 assists. And now he's going to Torino. He just won't leave. We are going to wave goodbye to Victor Lindelof. He's going to go to Atletico Madrid for 16 million, so at least we got some of the money back. And one of 2 players we are going to welcome. The first, Antonio Silva, coming in from Benfica for 46 million pounds. Just is a good replacement for Victor Lindelof. A lot younger and a lot better. And to be honest, for that price tag, it was quite an easy decision. Welcome in to one of my favourite centre-backs in the game. And who's made it public knowledge he wants to leave Borussia Mönchengladbach. We have picked him up on this game, and he is going to cost me 44 million. Now, he ain't going to get into the first team, I don't think, but for a backup option who could improve, maybe one day he will get into the first team. And for me, you're getting a perfect player here. Incredibly versatile, still young, not on too much per week either, and he's more than happy to join and wants to get game time. So a really good sort of set of key principles there, and the team now looks like this. So as you can imagine, not too much is going to change, to be honest, apart from Silva actually gets in the best 11. So that's quite interesting to see. We've now got Martinez, Silva, De Ligt and Yoro. What I will say about Yoro is I don't want to lock him in because we've got too many players that wouldn't get game time then. So he might not develop, he might develop, we'll see. I have got him on the loan list, so we'll see what happens. He is wanted at the moment by Birmingham and Millwall on the loan. So before we actually start this season, I will try and loan him out. But of course, this is going to be the official team going into season 3. Not too many changes apart from that centre-back, of course. And we are playing in one extra competition. Of course, the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and now the Community Shield. So they are going to be predicting a finish of around about 6th place. I think that's quite harsh, to be honest, because we've just won the Premier League. We've strengthened as well. I'm going to go with back-to-back league titles as a prediction, and I also think we're going to win the FA Cup. So let's get into season 3 with an improved backline and see what we can do. Well, I'm going to make myself look stupid from the rip because we have not won back-to-back league titles. We were 5 points behind Man City. We still put up quite a good season, to be fair, finishing in 2nd place. Still really good signs of consistency, considering we have got one more competition to play in right now. But this does mean we better perform well in the other cups because I do not want to be running home with no trophies. I'll be absolutely gutted. A good, fantastic season from Bruno Fernandes. Best average rating, most assists. Musiala, good season as well. Bruno with 29 goals. He carried the Premier League quite hard. How else did we do in the competitions? Starting off with the FA Cup, we are not in the final, so we didn't win the FA Cup. The semis, we are in the semis against Brighton, a 3-2 defeat in extra time. I feel like we should be beating Brighton, and then we would have obviously had a final we could have won, but we didn't. It's as simple as that. I've looked into the Carabao Cup and we got absolutely humiliated against Man City in the semi-finals. A 4-0 defeat over 2 legs. Also are going to lose the Community Shield against Man City, meaning they have one-upped us in every regard this season so far. It leaves one last competition. Champions League. We made it past the round of 16 against Tottenham 7-4. Now into the quarterfinals, we beat Real Madrid 4-1 over 2 legs. A real dominant display there. Into the semis, we beat Napoli 6-1 over 2 legs. Into the final. And we start off the final very well with a very unique goal from Ugarte, a great goal inside of 5 minutes. Unfortunately, Barcelona, as expected, respond with Lewandowski, but the Champions League winning goal, Marcus Rashford plays it inside into Rasmus Højlund. We've won the Champions League. But this is my team. I can't finish inside of season 3. We're going to carry on to season 5 and try and have the ultimate season of a Premier League, a Champions League, an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup. I think we can do it. We're going to carry on and push on. But let's go and see how we done as a squad. It's still looking exactly the same. Really nice. 40 goals for Bruno, Musiala 33, 32 for Rashford, Garnacho with 23, 20 for Højlund, 12 for Kobbie Mainoo, assists 27 for Bruno, Ugarte with 21, 19 for Garnacho. We've got Kobbie Mainoo coming in with 17, Rashford coming in with 17, 16 for Musiala, 8 for Luke Shaw. Whoa, who wants Musiala? Real Madrid, you can go on your bike. You're not going anywhere. That is quite worrying to see. But overall, a really good season. Now, I know you can say, Josh, it's one trophy, but it's the trophy I wanted to win. It's the Champions League. We've won the Champions League, and we've also won a Premier League title in 3 seasons. So for me, we've done very well. But the next 2 years, we can go from the rebuild being here and take it all the way up here. So that's what we're going to try and do. Now, we have been given £40 million, so about half of the usual transfer budgets to obviously go and spend. But if we actually go and look, there are still players that we can sell to try and raise a little bit of capital in here. So the likes of Scott McTominay, who was out on loan this season. We've got Lenny Yoro, who I'm toying with the idea. Anthony, he definitely needs to go. Same with Jadon Sancho, whether he has gone. Where has he gone, Mr. Sancho? Here he is. He needs to go. These are players that are worth £50 million on Sancho, and Anthony's worth about 14. So we can get probably about 70 to 80 if we play our cards right and really cash in well. Of course, 2026, we have got players from this point upwards we need to focus on. We have got Alte Bandidir, he needs a new contract. Diallo needs one. Scott McTominay, I'm in two minds about because I absolutely love the guy, but he is dropping quite rapidly. Antony needs to go, Maguire needs to go. Probably guaranteed two, maybe three of them players are going to be offered new contracts. The other two, being Antony and Maguire, they can leave literally tomorrow. So I'm going to be sensible with what we do. Of course, these two players are the locked-in players. If we filter by the best 11, Antony, get away from the team, please. It's like a toxic hazard. We are going to have this team. Now, the team is incredible on paper, and we're not going to go outrageous and try and do instalment after instalment, but we are going to try and raise some money and then spend that money. So let's get into season 4 of the transfers and hopefully come back with somewhat of an improved team. So Luke Shaw, 30 years of age, and I wouldn't have sold him, but when you've got a bid coming in from Newcastle for £70 million, you have got to sell him. Now, I will say, if it wasn't for that figure, he wouldn't have gone, but he is a player that was playing through the absolute roof. I had Newcastle, West Ham, and I believe Arsenal come in, and I pushed my luck with Newcastle, and sometimes it works out. Lenny Yoro is going to go out for another season on loan. He is going to be going to Birmingham. Welcome in Ruben Neves. Of course, played in the Premier League before his payday in the Saudi League, but if you've played Football Manager a few times this year, you know he always becomes available on the free, and for that reason, £0 being spent, we are going to bring him in. He's on 170 grand a week, so it's more than doable. He's actually still got a lot to offer at the age of 29, and we love a Portuguese player. He's mates with Bruno. I'm going to bring in Ibrahimovic, not Zlatan. Don't worry, we've not gone back in the past. We are going to bring in Orion Ibrahimovic. I don't know how to say that. I do apologise, but he's going to come in from RB Leipzig for £25 million purely as a backup because, a little secret, but I am now going to go back to playing that 4-2-2 and try and win a Champions League with that formation. See what happens. So we are going to need another attacker midfield player, and that is where this guy comes in. And to replace Luke Shaw, we are going to pick up Mickey van der Ven. Now, he cost me a total of 75 million, but if you take away the Luke Shaw money, he cost me 5 million for a player that's 5 years younger and better. So you do the maths on that one. It's pretty common sense. Now, we have got some other players that are going out on loan or left on the free, which are pretty much in bulk. So you can see some of them right now. This was from last season, actually, with McTominay going out on the free. This season, we've got Lewis Griffin, we've got Kamasin, we have got James and Ethan Wheatley all going on the free because they ain't getting any game time, to put it bluntly. And going over to the tactics, we are reverted back to the 4-2-2, and the team now looks like this. Onana, Mazraoui, Silva, Martinez, Van der Ven, Neves, Ugarte, Fernandez, Musiala, Højlund, and Marcus Rashford, who does slot in there. Now, I do believe if I filter my best 11, Van der Ven will go to centre-back, which I don't want, but I think it's going to happen. It doesn't happen. That's really good to see. I thought it would. But on the bench, we've got the likes of De Ligt, we've got Mount, we've got Xerxes, Dalot, Kone, Garnacho, Malacia, McTominay, Diallo, Yoro, Sancho, Ibrahimovic, Kobbie Mainoo. We've still got Antony. I can't sell Antony. I'm trying my hardest, but getting absolutely nowhere. We've got a really, really strong team. Now, it is, again, a big gamble changing from a 4-2-3-1 back to a 4-2-2, but I think this is what we're going to see in real life. A combination of both. I want to see if we can, try and win something with this 4-2-2. Get Xerxes some guaranteed minutes again as well, and just see what happens. So let's get in to season 4. We are playing now in 5 competitions: the Premier League, the Champions League, the Super Cup, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup, and they are going to be predicting a finish of 4th place. So for me, I want more than that. Let's get into season 4. Into the FA Cup final against Everton, and to be honest, when I saw Everton, I thought, yeah, this is a free trophy, and from the get-go, inside of 13 minutes, it was looking that way. We then go and score a great free kick here with Bruno, beautiful free kick. I believe Mazraoui actually popped up with the goal here from, I believe, a set piece. It was, he wins it back here, I believe. He receives it, here we go. He cuts in and drives it into the bottom left-hand corner. We do go on to concede a goal right towards the end, but we still maintained a 2-goal advantage. FA Cup 1. Super Cup didn't go as planned as we lose 3-2 against Liverpool. And the Carabao Cup definitely didn't go as planned as we don't make it to the final. We don't make it to the semi-final. We get knocked out in the quarter-final against Newcastle. Premier League, again, we are going to have to settle for 2nd place, 3 points behind Manchester City. Again, stat-wise, we're doing quite well. Højlund and Rashford in the 2nd and 3rd top goal scorers. Van der Ven, 2nd best average rating, but simply not good enough to beat Man City and lift another Premier League title, which means our only hope of winning another trophy is on the Champions League. Did we do it? And to answer your question, no, we didn't. This is going to be the 2nd leg of the quarter-final. This was a game we needed to win by a couple of goals, and they got the 1st goal. And you know what? Despite a good bit of play here from Musiala, toying with Rodrigo and toying with everyone, and a great ball, despite getting that goal, we lose 3-2. And you know what? Credit is where it is due, because the players turned up. They turned up for this game, but as you can see, just too short, not enough. So that means for that season, it's going to be one trophy. The FA Cup we watched against Everton, the 3-1 win. Everything else we just couldn't do. We could have won another 2 trophies if we won this final, and we got 3 more points, for example. We would have won on goal difference. Did we lose against Man City? I don't want to look. I don't want to look, because it would mean we'd have won. We did, of course we did. If we would have beaten Man City that game, we would have won. We would have won the FA Cup. A lot of would-ofs, but we didn't. We have to accept it. And going into the last season, we've got 56 million to spend in that 5th transfer window. Now again, squad-wise, I'm not going to spend too much time because it's the same story. The stats are there. The stats are incredible in terms of goals being scored and assists being made. An incredible display. Mickey van de Ven enjoying a fantastic first season. Overall, we are the best at scoring, the 3rd best when it comes to defending. So maybe a little bit more money needs to be put into that goalkeeper and centre-back area now. I believe Onana is slightly fallen off. He is into 2.5 star. And also he is wanted by West Ham. A little bit of Kashola. Maybe we consider selling him. Now going to that squad. Expiries 2028 upwards, he might be going. Bruno I could probably sell for a sweet bag or 2, easy 90 mil, but he's loyal. I'm loyal. He's staying. Diallo's staying, although he's unhappy. McTominay, thanks for being here, mate, but you are going to be sold now. So we are going to get into the last transfer window. A couple of big faces going, most likely in Onana and also McTominay. It's going to be sad, but it's business. Scott McTominay is finally going to leave. He obviously went out on loan a few seasons ago to Leicester, but this time it's permanent. He's going to go to Valencia for 5.7 million. Andre Onana, he has been such a joy to have for this entire rebuild, but he has been going. And do you know what? I was going to say we've lost a lot. We haven't really. 44 million. Again, Newcastle getting the checkbook out and signing another older Manchester United player. And do you know what? Yes, we've lost 2.5 million, but he's been a great player for us, so goodbye to him. But genuinely, it's going to be a big miss. Also, finally, sell Anthony. He is going to go to Everton for 13 million. It's actually disgusting, the amount we paid for him, but at least he's off the wage book. First up, we are going to welcome in a goalkeeper for the future. Again, I know you are going to get the rebuild file if you are interested, and I want to make sure you are covered for players in the future. So it is going to be Ludwig Hallström coming in. He cost me 44 million, but his attributes already look very good at 19, and that potential, it's exciting. Also going to bring in Wahi for the last season as another striker option because we are now playing 2 up front. Players get injured, you need rotation, and for the grand total of what, 45 million, we can welcome him in. I will say only 10 million of that was paid up front, so again a bit of an instalment signing, but sometimes you got to do it. Also going to replace Onana with Matthias Cunha coming in from Flamengo, I believe, for 10.7 million. He actually looks incredibly well rounded. I've never signed him before, but welcome in. For the price I paid for him, Tamori coming in for 20 million. I noticed we had a bit of a lack of centre-backs in terms of rotation. Euro has not developed nicely at all. So for that price tag, for an incredible centre-back who has still got 3 or 4 years in him, not yours, years in him, welcome in Tamori. The loss of Luke Shaw and the sort of decline of other fullbacks, I spent quite big in bringing in Amad Dedic. He can play left-back, he can play right-back. He cost me £61 million. He's on £160,000 a week, but he's an absolute joke. If you've used him, you know how good he is, and for me, this takes the team at the back now, fullback wise, from here all the way up here in terms of depth, in terms of quality. It's just a serious baller, and the final team you're going to see on paper is going to be this, filtered by the best 11 to make sure. It is going to be Cunha, Mazraoui, Silva, Van de Ven, Dedic, because of course it pushes Van de Ven out of the slot, Ugarte, Neves, Fernandes, Musiala, Højlund, and Rashford. For me, the team would look a little bit different, but on the bench we have still got Bandelier, we've got De Ligt, Mount, Xerxes, Martinez, Kone, Wahi, Tamori, Ibrahimovic, Garnacho. We've got Dalot, Sancho, Diallo, Malacia, Kobbie Mainoo, Hallström, and Lenny Yoro. So much depth, prepared for the future. One of the best rebuilds we have done in terms of preparing a team for the future. I am so excited to get into the 5th season where we are playing in 5 competitions and they are going to be predicting us a finish of 4th place again. I'm going to go prove them wrong. I'm going to go win another Premier League. They say manifest it and it will happen, and that is what we have done. An 11-point advantage over Chelsea. We're going to beat Arsenal, beat Newcastle, beat some really big teams. Obviously Newcastle, how have Newcastle developed? Because they've got money, they've given a lot of money to us. Let's go over and look. They've got Xabi Alonso in charge, and they are playing with Costa, Botman, Iheanacho, Ogbu, Pepe, Tonali, Bruno, Shaw, That is a ridiculous team. Fair play to them. Fair play where it is due, but a great season for us. Højlund and Bruno first and joint second with goals. Musiala the best player. Musiala most assists. Kuna second most amount of clean sheets, so that was a really, really impressive signing. And what I like to see is, I think, most goals. That is what we're about. Manchester United, the counter-attack, the attack, goals, goals, goals. That's exactly what we signed up for. Now, the rest of the competitions, we are going to go and have a quick look right now, and we are going to see another one. Carabao Cup, we are going to win on penalties against Tottenham. A very, very satisfying end, because last video, if you've watched it, the West Ham rebuild, we couldn't win a penalty shootout. It's nice to go out on a penalty shootout. Runners up in that Community Shield, we never did win one of those. The FA Cup 5th round and the Champions League round of 16. So 1 Champions League and I believe 2 Premier League titles, an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup. It's quite good. It's nearly a trophy a season, and we've won the biggest trophy of them all. Now, as a little exit to the video, we'll look at how everyone done. Højlund with 29, Bruno with 25, Musiala with 22, 18 for Marcus Rashford, Wahi with 17, 10 for Mickey van der Ven, 20 assists for Højlund, 20 for Bruno, Musiala with 19, 15 for Rashford, Wahi with 3. It's a bit of a drop off there, but 15 from Dalot as well. And overall, guys, this is an exciting sort of rebuild for you to carry on. And do you want to know why? Because we have been taken over as well, and you've got a budget of 309 million. Now, that is a budget you can literally buy Mbappe, Vinicius. You can buy whoever you want, and you can take over football. So if there's ever a rebuild file you're going to get on that Patreon, go and get this one, because you will have so much fun. You've got an incredible team, an incredible budget, incredible staff, and I will throw in both of the tactics for you to have fun with. So if you have enjoyed today's rebuild, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment below what you want to see next, and please send me screenshots of what you do with this team, because I love to see it, and I honestly think you might break the game. But I'll see you in the next one.